No doubt you've noticed there's been so many music biopics releasing this past decade from a vast range of quality. This trend really kicked off with Bohemian Rhapsody, which is awful, and of course the Michael Jackson biopic is just that, and I predict that'll be just as awful. So many films, some successes, some failures. Everyone seems to be tired of them. They all only exist because they are safe, critical, and commercial films to get Oscar attention. However, as much as I despise this term music biopics, I think it's undeniable to me that there's at least one film that stands head over shoulders above the rest, and that film is Better Man. Better Man is the story of British pop star Robbie Williams telling his life's journey, showing his rise and fall, revealing his complicated and inner struggles and his relationship with his father, and also, he's an ape. What makes this film so interesting compared to so many other music biopics is that it's telling us a story that so many people are not familiar with, which is also one of the reasons why the film failed, because outside of the UK and Australia, no one knows who Robbie Williams is, causing this $110 million film to only end up making $22 million, which is a shame because, as you know by watching this video, this is a great film, and the lack of stardom for Robbie Williams compared to Queen or Elvis, literally the most famous musicians of all time, allows the film to be less sanitized and explore the darkest moments of Robbie's life without having to make the film safe and forgettable and just feeling tropey like most other biopics. Before we get too far into this, I think we need to address the elephant in the room. Why the fuck is he an ape? The main question plaguing the minds of watchers everywhere: why is he an ape? And I think the reasoning, while not being completely necessary, adds so much to the film, because the film presents itself as being from Robbie Williams' perspective, specifically from his mental headspace. The opening of the film, Robbie is in the narration saying that an ape is how he saw himself. There isn't too much meaning for why it's an ape, kind of just like he's a piece of entertainment, like just a monkey, monkeys are entertaining. There isn't a lot of significance for why it's an ape specifically, but apes look like humans, and that's pretty much why it was an ape. Having Robbie present himself as an ape accomplishes two things. It makes him stand out as an outsider, like he is different than anyone else, but the main thing that the ape accomplishes is create a sense of fantasy to the film. This film is not grounded in reality. It is constantly creating imaginary fantasy sequences during the musical sequences, and the fact the main character is an ape makes it so much easier to buy into the film's reality. The ape is a reminder that this movie takes place inside of Robbie's perspective. As the film goes on and his mental headspace changes, the film becomes darker and crazier in how he sees the world. Straight off the bat, one of the things to praise about this film is how amazing the visual effects are. You completely believe in this ape and you forget that you're not watching a human. Many sequences are filled with visual effects and they are pretty seamless and never distracting. Robbie Williams played a large role in making of the film, and his vision for this film, I think, is what makes it so good. Because this film feels so personal to Robbie, exploring his deepest struggles and not being afraid to show all the horrible aspects of his life, from his drug struggles, cheating on his partner, and just being an all-around asshole. Everything's on display in this film, showing the worst parts of his character make him so much more compelling and interesting compared to the boring cardboard cutouts that we see in other music biopics. Elvis ignores that he started dating his wife when she was a minor. They remove all of the debauchery that went into Freddie Mercury's lifestyle, and you can bet good money they're not going to represent Michael Jackson as the kid diddler that he was. There are obvious reasons these parts aren't included in their stories, because these films are crowd pleasers made by corporations, and they don't want to hurt these musicians' brands. When I watch Better Man, and I'm shown how complex of a character that Robbie is, it makes him so much more interesting. The honesty on display creates a story which is easy to connect with, because the film doesn't want to show Robbie as a perfect person. It feels so much more realistic, easy to connect with. Flaws are what make someone interesting, and seeing his arc of rising up as an asshole, for crashing back down, unable to fight back against himself, only to rise up again as a better person or better man, it is so compelling and interesting, and gives such a great appreciation for who Robbie Williams is as a person, as an artist, compared to films like Elvis, which leave me feeling no greater feeling towards the artist. The film has one of the most interesting depictions of mental health struggles in film. Throughout Robbie's life, he is dealing with severe anxiety, self-doubt, and depression. It's all displayed to the audience through his mind as Robbie forms. We see different Robbies from different points in his life, watching and criticizing Robbie, showing how he hates himself. Sequences in this film very theatrical and emphasize the cold darkness he feels inside him, falling deeper into his pit of despair. The climax of the film might be one of the most creative sequences in any movies. As Robbie's performing Let Me Entertain You at Nebworth, one of the biggest concerts of all time, we see into the crowd again, and we look at all the different Robbies staring back, criticizing him until Robbie just can't take it anymore, and he dives in the crowd and fights the apes. This is incredible. It's one of the coolest little fight scenes of all time. It's so completely unexpected, so amazing, in fact, that the audience aren't able to immediately grasp what they're really watching because they're just in awe of what they're seeing visually. And they can't understand what's really happening in the scene. Which Robbie is literally fighting his own demons, insecurities, and mental health struggles. This visually insane sequence comes to an end when Robbie stabs the chest of his younger, most innocent self. The battle stops, but one ape remains. An identical ape to current Robbie. They stare at each other as reflections of himself. And he holds up a knife, and as the music reaches a crescendo, he slices his wrist. As the audience is swept up in the epicness of the scene, they fail to realize that what we are witnessing is a man losing his inner battles and deciding to kill himself. It's one of the most effective depictions of depression and mental health struggles. The build-up and shock of it all, and how the movie makes us feel like we're attached to Robbie, causes total emotional impact and when he finally breaks down. On a little lighter note, despite the extreme themes of this movie, it's also a fun as hell movie. The energy this movie brings is non-stop from the opening, getting us hooked into the wild world of Robbie Williams and his lifestyle. The music, the awkward comedy, everything in this movie just works. The music sequences in particular are incredible. Obviously, I'd be remiss not to talk about that rock DJ sequence, which is one of the best musical scenes in the movie. It's just perfect. The way it's shot is as if it's one shot. The way the group starts off is annoying, but starts to build up a crowd and get the people on their side. The scene's really funny. The way the song keeps building up, bringing in more energy that just goes... that just an electric scene that makes us feel like we're along with these boys in their journey to the top. I love that She's the One scene. It feels so authentic, like we're experiencing how they fall in love with each other. We feel everything with them and how quickly we become attached to each other. And the song is just absolutely magical sequence. The visuals do a lot to make us feel their infatuation for each other. That Angels scene is so heartbreaking, how isolated he feels, how unattached he is from the world around him. Everyone moves in slow motion or just blank states. All Robbie is able to do is just stand there and do his best to perform and keep up his act. There's just so much creativity that went into every aspect of this film. It never took the simple route and how to portray emotions and focus more on the mental impact of events over how they happened. Michael Gracie, the director of this film, goes all out to create a unique cinematic experience that stands out from other films you've seen, especially biopics, turning every aspect of filmmaking up to 11, and creates an incredible, memorable set pieces and characters that feel fully fleshed out and complicated. What I love about this film is how it doesn't hide itself. It all goes out in showing Robbie Williams' story. He shows up, says this is who I am. It goes all out in showing Robbie Williams' story. He shows up, says, this is who I am. This is who I was. This is who I am. This is the story of my life. He isn't ashamed of his journey. This isn't a redemption story of how he became a better man. Not just a cliche music biopic. The way this movie makes you feel fully connected to someone who most people never knew existed is incredible, and it leaves a large impact on the audience. While it's impossible to deny that the film has no music biopic cliches, the film just simply does them better and more authentic than other films. This is an amazing film. If I had to fault it for anything, sometimes the father stuff felt a little too cliche movie biopic-y, but it felt very heartfelt, and the rest of the film more than makes up for it. Incredible music biopic, incredible movie. Better Man gets a high 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Better Man. What's the best music biopic? How are you feeling about that new Michael Jackson movie? Like and subscribe. See you next time.